Good evening, welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight for our out-of-state teacher candidate presentation at New York City Public Schools. Apologies, we had some technical difficulties, so we are starting a couple of minutes late. We are grateful for all of you who are here. My name is Chevy. I work at the Office of Teacher Recruitment and Quality here at New York City Public Schools. I am joined by two of my colleagues tonight, Steph and Sergio. You'll be hearing from them as well. We are going to get started because we do have a lot to cover tonight. Just a few quick notes. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, there is a questions box in the control panel for GoToWebinar. You can submit questions in writing to our team. We will do our best to respond to your questions throughout the presentation. You might want to wait to see if we answer your question in the presentation. We will do our best to respond to your questions, and we will also try to save some time at the end. So again, you'll see a questions component on your control panel. You can click there to submit questions to our team throughout the presentation tonight. You'll also see QR codes on a few slides. We use QR codes as a way to share links with you all, hopefully easily. So if you have your smartphone camera app open, you'll be able to access the QR codes. We will send out a recording of this presentation, so everybody will get a follow-up email with a recording of tonight's presentation. So if you missed something or you wanted to go back to one of those QR codes, you will receive that via email as well. We have a lot to cover. We're really excited to talk to all of you tonight, but before we do want to learn a little bit about each of you. So I am going to put a quick poll up. If you can take a quick minute to respond to the option that best describes your current status. Do you currently hold teaching certification outside of New York State? Are you working toward teaching certification outside of New York State? Have you started the process already of obtaining your New York State teaching certification or other? I'm sure there are lots of different circumstances encompassed in other, but if that best applies to you, please select that option. Again, if you're just joining us, welcome. We're so glad that you're here. You can take a quick moment to respond to this poll. It's helpful for us to learn a little bit more of the audience that we have with us this evening. Looks like about 80 to 85% of the people have responded already. Thank you all. Just over half of the audience here has teaching certification outside of New York State, with another 20% working toward teaching certification. We are going to talk through all of the different pathways to obtaining your New York State teacher certification, whether you already have your teaching certification or you're working toward it in the state that you are from. So you're in exactly the right place. Hopefully the information that we share tonight will be useful. About 15% have already started the process of obtaining their New York State teaching certification. Kudos to you. Hopefully there will be some additional insights that we share tonight that will support you in that process and give information about finding teaching jobs at New York City Public Schools. And then about 10% falling in the other category. Thank you all for sharing that with us. It's really helpful for us to learn a bit more about who we have with us here this evening. And with that, I will turn it back over to Sergio.
Hello, good evening, everybody. So what I wanted to do is just start out for today's session, go over the agenda that we have. So again, today's session is for out-of-state certified teacher candidates or graduate school of education students that are on track to be certified. So the presentation is going to be broken up into a few different topics. It's going to be an overview of New York City Public Schools, including a spotlight on early childhood education, the online teacher application process, finding your fit within New York City Public Schools, and questions and next steps. So my goal for you is to walk away with an understanding of how you can start the process to begin your teaching career at New York City Public Schools. So before we get started, I do want everyone to write down this website, and maybe Chevy or Steph can put it in the chat, but teachnyc.net. That website is the ultimate resource for all things related to teaching at New York City Public Schools. The sooner you apply when the application opens up, the sooner you can gain access to the new Teacher Finder, which is our portal to available positions, networking events, principal panels, and the job search guide. So New York City Public School overview. In this section, I want to talk about the benefits of joining the New York City Public School system. When you join New York City Public Schools, you're going to be joining the largest, most dynamic district in the nation. So with over 900,000 students who speak over 180 languages and a network of 77,000 fellow teachers, New York City educators have the unique privilege and responsibility to jumpstart the next generation of innovators, leaders, and citizens. So New York City has 1,600 schools that are diverse as our students and the distinctive neighborhoods that we serve, from neighborhood schools with deep roots in their local community to small thematic schools in the performing arts. There are schools with a focus in STEAM, the humanities, and dual language schools. Whatever your interest or passion might be, there is a school for you. You can choose a school that fits your teaching philosophy and engage with a community of like-minded professionals. Within our schools, teachers build personal connections with their students, colleagues, and families to support relationship building and learning outcomes. We will later talk about how to find your fit and navigate the school job and navigate the job search process in New York City. So we are looking for educators who are motivated to be part of this incredibly challenging but impactful work. When you join New York City Public Schools, you join a community of educators guided by a commitment to equality, to equity, and excellence. Grounded in this commitment, our priorities for this school year are reimagining the student experience, scaling, sustaining, and restoring what works, prioritizing wellness and its link to student success, and engaging families to be our true partners. In New York City, it is best to understand that New York City is comprised of 5 county-level administrative divisions called boroughs. So as you can see on the chart here, we have Staten Island, Manhattan, the Bronx, Queens, and Brooklyn. Within the boroughs, there are at least one or more school districts for a total of 32 school districts. So you can see on the right-hand side where the different districts are divided in New York City. We have 2 specialized non-geographical districts that are located in all five boroughs, called District 75 and District 79. District 75 serves our students who have moderate to severe disabilities, and District 79 students serve students who have experienced an interruption to their studies. So for more information, you can visit our website, schools.nyc.gov. So New York City's public schools is dedicated to attracting and retaining the very best teachers for our school. We're looking for passionate, collaborative, and committed teachers who reflect the incredible diversity of our student body. We're looking for passionate educators, and our team of exceptional educators are passionate about educating urban students, truly believing in the power of education, truly believing that the power of education can make in students' lives. Our teachers thrive on constant learning and collaboration with colleagues. Our teachers go above and beyond for students, understanding student challenges and embracing their potential. We also are looking for teachers who are diverse and as diverse as our students. We're hoping that this will help put our students on a path to college, careers, and a lifetime of learning. Let's hear from 2 New York City public school teachers. So on the left-hand side, you're going to have Sergio. Sergio graduated, no relation to me, but Sergio graduated from Brooklyn College. He teaches middle school English. He teaches middle school English language arts, and his, from his testimonial, if you're here, it's because you are passionate about education and helping students learn in the most diverse city in the world. On the right, you're going to have Charlene. Charlene teaches science in a high school focused on supporting English language learners and has the opportunity to support students during these critical years as they learn English and prepare for college study in the health sciences. A testimony, as she said, is working and living in New York City affords you a range of opportunities you don't see elsewhere. What are some of the benefits of teaching at New York City Public Schools? Well, for one, you're making a difference in the lives of your fellow New Yorkers, maybe even those in your local community. You're focusing on building a better future, using your skills to help develop the nation's next leaders, innovators, and educators. You're also building relationships with colleagues dedicated to a shared goal. You'd be joining a robust network of over 70,000 teachers. Starting salaries as of 2025 for teachers with their bachelor's is going to be $66,733 with no experience. And for your master's with no experience, it's going at $75,017. Teachers' starting salaries vary based on education and experience. You can earn additional compensation for teaching after school or summer school programs and for teaching in demand in-demand environments. The Office of Teacher Recruitment and Quality is unable to predict what your starting salary will be based on your experience and educational attainment, regardless of the teaching pathway that you choose. You can estimate your starting salary by visiting the UFT salary schedule, which is the QR code that we have here posted. That salary schedule is going to outline opportunities for increases based on previous teaching experience, longevity at New York City Public Schools, and different educational credits that you can get. All teachers begin at the base salary and then apply for salary steps and salary differentials using the salary application system after beginning teaching. If eligible for a higher salary due to experience or educational attainment, you must apply for a salary step when you begin teaching full-time at New York City Public Schools. You can't apply before you start teaching. If you're a paraprofessional, your years of teaching do not count as full-time teaching experience. If you're a full-time substitute teacher, your experience does count as full-time teaching, but you need to provide documentation or proof of your full-time work. You can also find additional resources regarding salaries on the following web pages. I'll give you a couple of seconds to use your phones to scan the QR codes and keep those two websites handy for you. So another part of the robust benefits that New York City Public Schools offers are our comprehensive health insurance plan, dental, vision, and prescription drugs. Some require no employee contribution, annual retention bonuses prorated during your first year and increase every year after that. When you become a New York City Public School teacher, you're also enrolled as a member of the United Federation of Teachers. You're also enrolled in the New York City Public Pension Plan. New York City Public Schools employees are eligible for many additional benefits, including commuter benefits, a college savings program, and employee discounts on everything from technology and media to travel and education. In addition, scholarships, financial incentives, and other special programs are available for many employees. There are also exciting loan forgiveness programs you could be eligible for as a New York City public school teacher. And again, I want to give you some time to scan the two QR codes and learn a little bit about the loan forgiveness programs that we have here. So the loan forgiveness program on the left is the New York State Teacher Loan Forgiveness Program, which is available for teachers serving hard to staff districts or who teach in subject shortage areas in New York State. You must be a New York State resident for at least 12 months to be eligible. And again, scan the QR code for more details about that program. The program on the right is the New York City Public Schools, is for New York City Public School teachers who may be eligible for this public service loan forgiveness program. The Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program forgives the remaining balance on your direct loans after you've made the equivalent of 120 qualifying monthly payments under an accepted repayment plan and while working full-time for an eligible employer. Again, take some time, scan this QR code, scan both QR codes to learn about each loan forgiveness program. So new teachers in New York City hit the ground running with professional resources and learning opportunities tailored just for you, in addition to the numerous career development opportunities available regardless of your years in the classroom. So each year we survey new teachers and use that feedback to improve upon offerings. So this past year, 95% of new teachers listed professional learning as a top priority. So you're joining a cohort that deeply values professional growth. New teachers in New York City Public Schools receive supports tailored specifically to their needs. These include New Teacher Week, an introduction to professional learning, 5-day workshop led by New York City Public School experts and specifically tailored for new teachers, school-based mentoring, New hires with an initial or transitional B license are assigned an experienced and trained mentor teacher to support professional growth throughout year one, and a first class newsletter. This monthly newsletter is a digital bulletin for first year teachers that spotlights vetted resources, teaching tips, and answers common new teacher questions. Teachers in New York City Public Schools, no matter where they are in their career, also have access to ample development opportunities at their school, including coaching, professional development days, and after-school learning opportunities. In addition to school-based supports, optional development opportunities are made available by various teams, including New York City Public Schools, school offices, and the UFT. We also offer digital resources for busy teachers to find resources for their classrooms and regularly stay connected to opportunities to extend your learning and impact. We know that many of you are ambitious long-term thinkers, and New York City Public Schools is a great place to begin a teaching career that offers countless growth opportunities throughout your career. This includes teacher leadership opportunities to be model teachers, peer collaborative teachers, or master teachers. These opportunities are only available once you've started your teaching career, but we're sharing them now since we know that many of you are thinking ahead. You can find out more information about the application processes and stipends on the Teacher Career Pathways website, which again is that QR code. I'll give you a couple of seconds to scan that as well. So let's talk about our early childhood education and our two mayoral initiatives, 3K and pre-K. So studies show that children enrolled in quality early childhood are better prepared academically, socially, and emotionally to succeed in elementary school and beyond. This is why New York City Public Schools has made it a priority over the last several years to provide high quality early education programs for all New Yorkers. With that goal in mind, our pre-K initiative is currently servicing all 32 districts, supporting 40,000 students. Early childhood teaching candidates can work in one of 4 early childhood settings in New York City: district schools, pre-K centers, charter schools, or community-based organizations known as CBOs. You can see the 4 settings represented on the My Schools map, which is a free online resource for all prospective teachers. The different settings are represented by different colored hands, which you can see on the top left side of the screen. District schools and pre-K centers, which are the light blue and dark blue hands, are district programs that are early childhood classrooms located in district elementary schools. And there are 700 plus across New York City. Pre-K centers are standalone buildings that only offer 3K and pre-K grades and classrooms. If you work at one of these sites, you are an employee of the City of New York and New York City Public Schools. You must hold a New York State Early Childhood Teaching certification by the start of the school year to work in one of these settings. Now, the charter schools, which are the green hands, New York City Public Schools works with about 15 to 20 charter schools in New York City that offer early childhood programs. They usually have their own HR and hiring practices, but this is an option if you are a teacher candidate. Now, the orange hand, or the community-based organizations, are independent community-based organizations that contract with New York City Public Schools to provide free early childhood programs. They also include new 4410 and 4201 programs that are state-sponsored but are contracting with New York City Public Schools to provide programming exclusively for students with disabilities in 3K and in pre-K. And there are about 1,200 plus across New York City. So a lot of orange, as you can see on the map that we have here for the pre-K finder. Each community-based organization each community-based organization employs its own teachers. They are not employees of the City of New York. As a teacher candidate, it's important to understand the benefits of CBOs in order to maximize your job search and potential to secure a teaching position. One thing that sets CBOs apart is that they are 100% focused on early childhood education. And because of this, all activities like classroom layout, professional development for teachers, selection of educators, family and community programming are done with young children in mind. They're also known for their small size or family feel and for their connection to the community. This allows for a more supportive environment that's really valuable to a new teacher and allows you to establish and build strong relationships with the families and communities right from the start. Because there are so many CBOs across the city, they really vary in size, location, and in mission. Some of these organizations are run by nonprofits and community-based programs. Others are nursery schools or daycare centers. This allows you as the candidate to tailor your job search and find a position that meets your educational philosophy and your teaching needs, whether those are based on geography or position. CBOs are the only opportunity through New York City Public Schools to be a lead teacher without yet having earned your New York State certification. The not yet certified positions may be of interest to some of you that might not be certified by the start of next school year, but are interested in getting classroom teaching experience and earning a salary right now. So let's take one final look at the map and see all of those orange hands are CBO. So every year we see that the vast majority of hiring is happening in this setting, and we foresee that this trend will continue. If you're already certified in early childhood, be sure to say yes to the CBOs on the online teacher application so that hundreds of hiring managers can have access to your resume. You can view the majority of positions on the early childhood job board, and you can really maximize your job opportunities. So now I want to talk a little bit more about just specifically in detail who we're looking for. So just here's some data and recruitment hiring numbers for the previous school year for 2020. I'm sorry, for the previous school year. There were close to 13,500 traditional applications that were submitted, and over 500 which is over a 500 application increase from last season. Over 4,300 new traditionally certified teachers were hired, comprising 80% of overall hires. And traditionally certified teachers completed an educator prep program leading towards their teaching certification. 88% of applications were from New York State. 30% of new hires teach under a students with disabilities license, and 42% of new hires graduated from a teacher prep program in the last 2 years. So you'd be joining a lot of teachers who are on the same career trajectory and timeline as yourself, while still having the opportunity to learn from many experienced teachers. Traditional candidates comprised of 87% of total hires. Again, going with the data, 12% of submitted applications were from candidates outside of New York State. 12% of traditional hires were out-of-state candidates. The states that had the most applicants were New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, and Massachusetts. While we hire across all certification areas and backgrounds, we want to highlight the current hiring priorities for New York City Public Schools. These priorities can shift from year to year based on the needs of our schools. If candidates are not yet certified or are considering adding an extension to your certification, these are areas where principals will be hiring and where there is a higher demand for more teachers to be certified. We encourage candidates to consider one of these areas where teachers are in high demand. If candidates have an extension or another certification in one of these subject areas, it might be wise to leverage it to increase their job prospects. Note that Queens was the most preferred borough by recent graduates. In order to increase job prospects, being open to opportunities in the Bronx and Brooklyn is a great start. So nearly 58% of 2024 hires teach in the Bronx and in Brooklyn. So we'll talk more about the New York State certification process in the next section, but we want to state upfront that you will be required to obtain a valid New York State teaching certification to be hired to teach in a New York City public school classroom. All New York City teachers must possess one of the following: US citizenship, US residency, or a work visa that allows you to work within the US. So based off of that, I do want to pass it off to Stephanie, who is going to talk more about the New York State teacher certification process.
Hi, everyone. My name is Steph. I hope you're having a nice evening. Thank you for being here. In this section, I will share some information about the New York State teacher certification process. It's really important to name that New York State is the final determinator of your certification status, but we are here to guide you through that process. The process can be lengthy, taking from 6 to 8 months. So it will be important to get started as soon as possible if this is a pathway you're interested in. Sergio, you can go to the next slide. Thanks. While you are pursuing your New York State certification, you can also be working on your New York City Public Schools application. We strongly recommend that you work on the applications concurrently. You can find the New York City Public School teacher application at teachnyc.net, which we already shared in the chat. And you can find the New York State Education Department certification application at nyced.gov. There are QR codes on the slide as well. Next slide. Out-of-state candidates should apply for New York State initial certification, which is an entry-level certificate that is valid for 5 years and leads to a professional certificate. Next slide. There are 3 most commonly used pathways to earning New York State initial certification. So tonight we'll give you an overview, but it's still important for you to do some additional research to find the pathway to certification that makes the most sense for you. The first 2 of the most common pathways to certification are reciprocity options. So for recent graduates from a teacher education program, or for those who already possess a teaching certificate from another state and have over 3 years of public school teaching experience in that state. If reciprocity is denied, you can consider pursuing an individual evaluation. So we'll dive into more detail on each of these. Next slide. On this slide, you can see the normal requirements for earning the initial certification. If you meet all of the requirements, including all of the testing, then you should apply for the initial certificate. Those who are eligible for this pathway are going to be those who have completed a teacher preparation program or are certified out-of-state teachers who have completed at least 3 years of their teaching career. As I mentioned before, the initial certificate is issued as the entry-level certificate for classroom teachers, and it's issued in specific subject areas and grade titles. The majority of our out-of-state applicants will be submitting their New York State, will be submitting their application, their New York State Teach application to get this certificate. It generally takes 5 to 6 months for the process to be completed. You can find the most information, all the information you need on this process by visiting the New York State Education Department website, nyced.gov. And it's linked and there are QR codes throughout this presentation as well. Next slide. If you have a teaching certification from another state and you have those 3 years of experience in a public school within the past 7 years, then you can apply for a certification endorsement. The final authority regarding who receives these certification endorsements and the acceptability of any specific certificate, all of that power remains with the New York State Education Department. Next slide. If you scan this QR code, you'll be brought to the site you can see in the screenshot there. When you get to the site, you can click on the letter that corresponds with your state or the state you are certified in, and you will be able to see all of the certificates from your state that are eligible for reciprocity. Again, New York State determines what is considered a comparable teacher certification, but you can find all of that information here. Again, the slides will be sent out at the end of the presentation, so if you don't catch all the QR codes, don't worry, you will have more opportunities to do so. Next slide. So if you have been denied the other 2 options and are not able to get reciprocity, you can submit for an individual evaluation. An individual evaluation is not the same as reciprocity. In an individual evaluation, the state will examine your qualifications based on the New York State certification requirements. You can access more information on the individual evaluation process by scanning this QR code. Next slide. You can learn more about all of your teaching certification options by visiting this website or this site on the New York State Education Department website. You can scan this QR code on the slide to access this very helpful resource. When you get to the page, you can select your subject area and grade level of interest along with some other information, and it will show you the requirements to get the certification you need. So we find that applicants really rely on this resource, and it can be very helpful. So we really recommend opening this link and saving it. Next slide. No matter which pathway an out of New York State candidate takes, they must complete the following workshops: child abuse identification, school violence intervention and prevention workshops, training in harassment, bullying, and discrimination prevention and intervention, and for certain certifications, needs of children with autism. The mandated New York State workshops have a cost, which depends on where you take them. You can learn more about the providers of these workshops on the New York State Education Department website by scanning the QR code. As there are out-of-state and online providers, you do not need to be located in New York State to complete the workshops. Next slide. You must refer to the New York State Education Department website to determine the required examinations for your certification. Exams roughly start around $100 each. Generally, out of New York State candidates must complete the exams you see on the slide, Educating All Students test, content specialty tests as well. And for bilingual applicants, the bilingual education assessment. Please note that out of New York State candidates who are going through the endorsement of a classroom teaching certificate pathway, so you're trying to get your certificate endorsed by New York State, you would not have to take these exams. Next slide. All candidates must be cleared by the New York State Education Department through a fingerprint-supported criminal history background check. Once you are hired by New York City Public Schools, you will complete the OSPRA 103 form to send your fingerprints from New York State to New York City. Next slide. New York City Public Schools welcomes candidates from a wide range of backgrounds to pursue teaching careers in New York City. For candidates educated abroad, it is important to note that New York State Education Department does not provide reciprocity for teaching experience or preparation programs outside of the US. We recommend first doing an individual evaluation with the state before applying to New York City Public Schools. That way, you find out what, if any, requirements you need before applying. Next slide. It's really important that you do not delay submitting your application for certification. Although the two processes are separate, the certification process being managed by the state and the New York City Public Schools application being separate, we will cross-check information from candidates who have submitted their online teacher application to see what their progress is toward receiving their certification. If your New York City teacher application is successfully screened and is moved into the new teacher finder, you will then be able to search for positions while you wait for your certification. If you're offered a position and are close to receiving your certification, we may even be able to help you receive temporary certification so that you can begin teaching, but we can only do that if you've done everything you need to do on Teach to get your certification and make sure that you meet the requirements. Next slide. You can scan the QR code here to take a look at our out-of-state candidate resource guide that contains lots of helpful information Again, we'll send out the slides at the end of this, so you'll have plenty of time to scan these QR codes and access all of these resources. Next slide. There are opportunities for before certification is earned as well. Sergio talked briefly about the early childhood landscape in New York City, and one of the great opportunities available to those interested in the beginning of their teaching career exists at NYCPS. You can work at a NYCPS before you earn your certification. So this is a great opportunity while you're waiting for New York State to review your certification documentation. Next slide. In this section, we'll talk a bit about the requirements to teach at New York City Public Schools and what it will take to apply. Next slide. So to teach at New York City Public Schools, you must first fulfill all the certification requirements and receive your certification. This process is done, as I've said, entirely through the New York State Education Department. Secondly, you'll need to submit your New York City Public Schools teacher application that you can find at teachnyc.net. That application will launch in January. You then can find your teaching position by conducting job outreach and starting to interview at schools. Next slide. So everyone who is interested in teaching for the upcoming school year must complete the online teacher application on teachnyc.net. As I said, that application will open in January. As I said before, we are often asked if candidates should wait until they are certified to submit their teacher application. All candidates should definitely apply before their certification is issued. Applying before you are certified is recommended and expected as long as you are on track to earn your certification by the start of the school year. Next slide. Here you can see a screenshot of teachnyc.net, and this is where you will go when you're ready to apply. When the application opens, you will see Apply Now on the carousel right when you get to the web page. And you can also see Apply Today at the top of the website. The earlier you complete the application, the better. It's just like getting in line first. Next slide. Before you start the application, we recommend that you check out the teacher application guide. This guide will walk you through the process of submitting and completing your application. You can use the QR code here to download the guide, or you can always find it on the homepage of our website, teachnyc.net. It is at the bottom right of the homepage. This guide shares information on preparing your application, including how to create your account, complete your profile. It includes tips and notes, as well as frequently asked questions. It will also introduce you to our online support center, where you can find the answers to our most frequently asked questions, or even chat with a representative from our team about your unique situation. We highly recommend reviewing this document before you start your application. Next slide. If you are a new user to the online teacher application, you will need to select New User. If you used the online teacher application in a previous year, you can use your previous login information to gain access. If for any reason you can't remember your previous login information or are not sure if you have been in our system in the past, you can select Not Sure here. Next slide. Here is what it looks like when you register for an account. You will have to complete all of the required information and register for an account before you can move on to the next steps of the application portal. This is a secure government website, so your personal information is protected. You must fill in all the required fields, including email, social security, and password. Next. Here is an example of the icons and required fields that you will need to complete on your application. As you can see here, the required fields are marked with an asterisk. If you click on the question mark icons, you can see additional helpful information. There's also a progress bar at the top of the page. Next slide, please. As a note, there are two main parts to the application. The first part is your NYC profile, And the second part is your teacher application. You must complete both sections in order to complete your application. So as part of this first part, your NYC profile, you will need to complete sections on your account information and work eligibility. This step asks for basic contact information and asks a few questions regarding your work eligibility. Note, if you do not disclose the work authorization status, your application will not be able to move forward. It will also ask about your education history for both high school and post-secondary education. You'll be asked to provide information on your work experience. This information can be used to help inform the starting salary of teacher candidates when they are hired. So for this reason, the accurate input of professional experience is very important. You'll ask to provide additional information. You'll be asked to provide, additional information. And then lastly, there will be a disclaimer and release statement. Next slide, please. Moving on to part 2, the New York City teacher application. This section will consist of a job search profile, experience and certification information, and you'll be asked to upload a resume. Next slide, please. In the job search profile of the teacher application, there are multiple questions that allow you to specify your preferences for grade level, borough, and program type. So for grade level, you can select your grade level preferences in this part of the application. This preference should match your certification areas. So you should not select a preference for a grade level that you are not certified to teach. Borough preference, you can indicate the locations where you would be most interested in finding a job. As you might know, New York City Public Schools is the largest school district in the country, operating over 1,600 schools in the 5 boroughs. Therefore, understanding your preferences in terms of where you would like to work is certainly important. And the application will ask you for your top 3 borough preferences. You can revisit this section of the application as often as you would like. So if your circumstances change throughout the hiring season, you can adjust the preferences you have shared previously. And then you will have an opportunity to indicate if you are interested in working in District 75. As Sergio said, District 75 is a non-geographic district providing quality and rigorous individualized educational programs to students with significant challenges. If you are in an eligible certification area, your resume may be shared with District 75 schools in the geographic regions you specify, but you may also indicate here on the application if you are interested so that principals know to look at your application. Next slide. For each certification or extension you hold, you will be asked to input the following information: your certification status, your certification type, your subject area, grade level, certification issue date or expected issue date, your educational pathway to certification, meaning did you attend a traditional teacher preparation program, did you participate in a program like New York City Teaching Fellows, etc. Note that you will need to enter this information for each certification and extension that you hold. Next slide, please. One of the most common reasons why teacher candidates' applications get held up during the review process is that they may not have uploaded the correct or current supporting documentation to show that they are certified or on track to be certified. So this is really important. If you have a teaching certificate from another state or territory, you will need an electronic copy of your current certificate. If you are completing currently an approved teacher preparation program in another state or territory, you will need a letter from your college or university stating that you are on track to be certified by September of 2025. If you scan this QR code, you will see a sample of one of these letters. You can also find it on our website. Next slide. So here's what happens after you submit your application. All applicants will receive a confirmation email from the Office of Teacher Recruitment and Quality confirming that their application has been submitted. All applications will then be reviewed to confirm that the applicant is either certified or on track to be certified. Within 1 to 2 weeks of submitting a complete application, our office will get in touch with you to ask for additional information if needed to review your application, or potentially to let you know that you've been admitted into the new teacher finder, where you can start to apply to jobs and get access to job supports. We may reach out to let you know that we cannot assist you in your job search if you do not hold a valid teaching certificate or are also not on track to earn that teaching certificate. Next slide, please. On this slide, you can see our application timeline. So as you can see, the application opens in January and remains open until August. Candidates can submit their application anytime during this time frame, but the earlier you do, the more advantages that you have. Job search and interviewing occurs throughout the year, depending on when candidates complete their application. Next slide, please. On this slide, you can see our application deadlines. Each of the deadlines has candidate opportunities and job search supports connected with it. So for example, if candidates submit their application by March 6th, they're eligible for early commitment opportunities. This allows them to secure a position in specific districts and subject areas before peak hiring season. The job search supports include invitations to in-person and virtual networking events, opportunities to participate in school tours, access to vacancy lists for early commitment schools, and invitations to virtual job search workshops. Next slide, please. As I said, there are opportunities for candidates to secure positions and receive signing stipends before school budgets are released in June. This is called early commitment. So schools in these select districts you can see here can make hiring commitments to candidates in high need subject areas between March and June. The early commitment process enables candidates to jumpstart their job search and find their best teaching home. Please note that candidates must be new hires to New York City Public Schools, and they must be traditional candidates. Next slide. To summarize, to teach in New York City Public Schools, you must first fulfill all certification requirements and receive your certification. As a reminder, this process is done completely through the New York State Education Department. Then you must submit an application to teach NYC. And then you can find your teaching position by conducting job outreach and interviewing at schools. I will now pass it over to my colleague Chevy to take us into the next section.
Thanks, Steph, and thanks everybody for joining us this evening. It's been a pleasure to be here with you all. We're going to talk briefly now about the job search process once you have applied for and hopefully obtained your New York State teacher certification, and you have submitted your New York City online teacher application and have had it reviewed by our team. Then you are entered into the new teacher finder, as Steph mentioned, and your job search process begins. So let's talk briefly about some of this, and then we'll try to save a few minutes for questions. As we've discussed, it's important that you put yourself out there when thinking about the job search, since you are going to be finding your own position. There are lots of different approaches and tools to help you find your job, whether that's researching schools online, reaching out to schools directly, talking to faculty at any maybe colleges that you're connected with, using the new teacher finder and other job boards, networking with colleagues, professors, friends, and attending New York City Public Schools networking events. You'll receive invitations to those networking events once you are entered into the new teacher finder. Next slide. Speaking of the new teacher finder, this is our job search tool that you'll get access to once your application has been reviewed by our team. And I will talk briefly about how to best use the new teacher finder to support your job search. Here's a screenshot of what the new teacher finder looks like. After selecting search all positions on the left panel, you'll be able to filter for positions in your preferred borough, filter for the preferred position type, grade level, subject area, and so on. Principals enter their vacancies into the new teacher finder, and so this way you'll be able to see all of those vacancies and search however you'd like. There are opportunities to express interest via the new teacher finder, but we do recommend that candidates email principals directly because we know that principals have a lot happening. The best way to get in touch with them is to send them a direct email. Their contact information is included in the new teacher finder as well. To learn more about specific schools, or if you want to learn about schools maybe that don't currently have vacancies posted, you can go to schools.nyc.gov. This is New York City Public Schools' main website, and use the Find a School feature, which is all the way at the top of the homepage. You can search for schools by name, by borough, or by grade level to help you narrow down your options. Remember that this tool lists every school in our system, not just those with open vacancies. If you see a particular school, though, that is of interest to you, maybe it's a school that's focused particularly on a subject area that you are certified in, or an area where you have a lot of experience, then you might want to reach out to the school directly to ask them about any potential vacancies. Next slide. When you click on an individual school, it's going to take you to a page that has a wealth of information about the school. It will give you the school website link, an overview to see some data about their grade levels, their enrollment, the district, and more. You can click on school quality to get reports about school quality guides and other data reports for their school. And then you can also click on reports for additional information about school programs, finances, and more. As you're conducting your job search, you want to think about ways to help you stand out virtually in the new teacher finder. Principals can search for candidates in the same way that you are searching for vacancies. And so you have some opportunities to uplight the spotlight section in the new teacher finder. This can include creating a portfolio, ensuring that your cover letter and resume are strong, and uploading videos of demo lessons. All this info can be uploaded in the spotlight section so principals can see it when they view your application. You'll also then have it available to you so that you can send it via email to principals and hiring managers when you are conducting your outreach. Let's talk briefly about where you can find some resources to support your next steps, and then we will save a couple of minutes here for questions. The best tool as a next step for support is to visit our online support center. We have hundreds of articles covering working at New York City Public Schools, the New York State certification requirements. We have a section specifically for out-of-state candidates, lots of information about the onboarding process, and more. There is also the opportunity on the top right of the online support center. You can click Contact Us, and that is a place where you can submit individualized questions. And so I definitely recommend that you take a moment to visit the online support center. It is linked at the top of our website, teachnyc.net, and on the top right of the online support center, you can click Contact Us for any additional support. We also have a podcast, Education in Color. If you're interested in learning more about New York City Public Schools from a different perspective, we definitely recommend that you check out the podcast. We try to shine a light on the impact of having a diverse education system, from educators, central staffers, policymakers, and everything in between. And lastly, we recommend that you follow us on social media, on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. We post regularly. This is a great place to find information about upcoming application deadlines, about upcoming events, about resources and opportunities, as well as to learn more about what's going on at New York City Public Schools. So we definitely recommend that you follow us and connect with us so that you can stay up to date with what is happening at New York City Public Schools.